Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Curse of Oak Island, an ancient artifact, suggests Vikings may have landed on the island. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, a mysterious artifact leads the team to suspect that Vikings may have visited Oak Island over 1,000 years ago. This week began with a major disappointment for the guys as the operation to excavate the garden shaft ground to a crushing halt. The plan to have the Dumas Mining Company open up this shaft and get the team below ground in the money pit was the main focus for this season. But once again, the guys have found themselves hampered by government bureaucracy. Dumas's plan was just to excavate and stabilize the shaft, but the government has stepped in to insist that as it's a mining operation, they need the proper permits. Crate Tester told a clearly gutted Rick and Marty Legina that the process would take a long time. Rick added that there is no end in sight. Luckily, the Legina brothers never stayed despondent for too long. After a deep sigh, they picked themselves up and began looking for the next area of the island to explore. This week's main excitement stemmed from Gary Drayton and Jack Begley's mysterious find on Lot 8. Last week, the two compadres pulled up an intriguing ornate metal plate that featured unknown insignia. It was something the archaeologists had never seen before. A preliminary analysis of the piece by Laird Niven and his team, along with a visual analysis by Mayan expert Dr. Edwin Barnhart, suggested that the object may be ceremonial in nature and was probably European, and could be extremely old. Expert archaeologist says Oak Island artifact could be Viking in origin. This week, Edwin was back, and after taking a closer look at the artifact, he came up with a stunning theory. Firstly, Edwin confirmed that the object consisted of copper, zinc, and lead, which made it brass, a substance only used in Europe. He initially speculated it might be Portuguese in origin, but amazingly, he also argued it could be Viking. Edwin stated that the Vikings were known for using brass to plate over objects. This would place the artifact somewhere between the 8th and 11th centuries. The archaeologist also said that the Vikings or Norse were known to have reached Greenland and Newfoundland in the 10th century, and that it was possible they also made it to Oak Island. Recently, the Fellowship has focused on either the French, the Portuguese, or the Templar Knights as being key to the Oak Island mystery. But now with the introduction of the Vikings, the timeline is being pushed even further back. This isn't the first time Viking treasure has been associated with the island. In 1996, metal detectorist Robert Young claimed to have found a Viking coin on Lot 5. Unfortunately, Lot 5 is currently out of bounds for our team. Oak Island team uncovers a mysterious void at the money pit. In the meantime, the borehole drilling team at the money pit has been following the path of an underground tunnel they suspect might be heading toward the garden shaft. Unfortunately, they seemed to lose track of this tunnel last night, but they may have found something even more interesting. At approximately 145 feet, the drill hit a massive void, a void that Alex Legina suggested could not be natural. This void, or cavity, immediately led the guys to suspect they'd found the elusive offset chamber, an underground and secret room where Marty Legina suspects the treasure to be hidden. The morning sun filtered through the dense canopy, casting dappled shadows on the excavation site. For decades, Oak Island had been shrouded in mystery, a treasure hunter's dream and skeptic's delight. From tales of Templar gold to pirate plunder, the whispers of untold riches had lured countless adventurers to its shores. But today, a discovery threatened to rewrite the island's enigmatic history. Amidst the swirling dust and the hum of anticipation, Dr. Elina Sorensen, a renowned archaeologist with a penchant for the Norse, held her breath as her team delicately brushed away centuries of sediment. What had begun as a routine dig had morphed into an archaeological odyssey when a glint of metal had caught a junior researcher's eye. "Careful now," Elena cautioned, her voice barely above a whisper. The artifact, half buried in the earth, was slowly revealing its secrets. As the final layers of soil were removed, a collective gasp rippled through the team. Before them lay a beautifully crafted brooch, its intricate designs unmistakably Norse. The swirling patterns, reminiscent of dragon heads and entwined serpents, spoke of a time when Viking longships ruled the waves. "Is that?" began Marcus, a fresh-faced graduate student, his eyes wide with awe. Alina nodded, her fingers trembling as she reached out to touch the relic. A Viking trefoil brooch, 9th century, if I'm not mistaken. The weight of the discovery settled over them. The implications were staggering. For years, the prevailing narrative had been that Vikings had ventured as far as Newfoundland, their settlement at Alliance Oaks Meadows serving as concrete evidence. But Oak Island, nestled off the coast of Nova Scotia, had never been linked to Norse exploration. News of the find spread like wildfire. Media outlets descended upon the island, their cameras hungry for the first glimpse of the ancient treasure. Historians debated fervently, their voices filling lecture halls and television screens. Could it be that the Vikings had ventured further south than previously believed? Amidst the frenzy, Alina found solace in her tent, poring over ancient maps and sagas. The Icelandic sagas, rich in their tales of Vinland and Markland, hinted at vast territories explored by Norse adventurers. Could Oak Island have been one such destination? Days turned into weeks as more artifacts emerged from the soil. A fragment of a sword hilt, bearing runic inscriptions. A weathered coin, its face adorned with the profile of a Norse king. Each discovery added a piece to the puzzle, painting a vivid picture of a Viking presence on the island. Skeptics argued that the artifacts could have been brought over later, perhaps by European settlers who had collected them as curiosities. But the stratigraphy of the site told a different story. The items lay in layers predating known European settlement, their placement suggesting they had lain undisturbed for over a millennium. The most tantalizing find, however, came one misty morning as the team excavated near the island's infamous money pit, a site long believed to house untold riches. Buried deep within a collapsed tunnel, they unearthed a wooden chest, its iron bindings rusted but intact. With bated breath, Alina pried open the lid. Inside, nestled amongst decaying fabric, lay a collection of parchments. Time had taken its toll, rendering many illegible. But one fragment caught her eye, a map, its faded ink sketching the contours of a coastline. Runic annotations dotted its margins, and at its heart, a symbol, a tree bearing 9 branches. "The Yggdrasil," Alina murmured, tracing the design. The Norse world tree, connecting the 9 realms. But what was it doing here? Translators and historians worked tirelessly, deciphering the runes and piecing together the narrative. The map, it seemed, chronicled a voyage undertaken by a Norse chieftain, Leif Ironheart, whose name had been lost to history. His expedition, driven by tales of fertile lands and untold wealth, had led him beyond the known territories of Vinland. The map detailed their journey, marking Oak Island as a significant site, referred to in the runes as Skatoi, or Treasure Island. The annotations spoke of buried hoards, of rituals performed under the midnight sun, and of a tree that stood as a beacon, a guardian of secrets. The revelations sent shockwaves through the academic community. If the map was genuine, it not only confirmed a Viking presence on Oak Island, but also hinted at treasures yet undiscovered. Alina, ever the pragmatist, cautioned against wild speculation. But deep within, a flame of curiosity burned brighter than ever. What if the legends of Oak Island's treasure were rooted not in pirate lore, but in Viking sagas?